Good morning, Mount Vernon Unitarian Church. What a delight to be here together this morning. I am Kate Walker, and I am honored to serve you as your minister. Whether you are new to this community or a longtime member, no matter what propelled you to set aside this time to join us in worship, know that you are welcome here. We are especially welcoming our visitors this morning. You are invited to stay after our virtual worship service and for social hour. And if you would like more information, please reach out to us. Send us your email. It's info@mvuc.org. That's info@mvuc.org, as in Mount Vernon Unitarian Church. We are a community dedicated to welcoming the stranger and working for justice wherever the heavy weight of oppression has dug into the fabric of life. And to that effort, we are countering the doctrine of discovery by naming and honoring the traditional indigenous inhabitants of this land. That is the Piscataway, the Powhatan, and the Dogi, also known as the Talks. In this time of increased uncertainty, we are unable to gather in person, but we are gathering each week to find comfort on Zoom and to recommit ourselves to the mission of supporting one another in our spiritual journeys. We are working to care for the earth and building the common good. We gather to commit ourselves to dismantling the systems of oppression and injustice. And my friends, it is good to be together. Our theme of the month for February is life and death, which seems particularly relevant given this awful pandemic. Next Sunday, on the 14th, I am so excited to welcome Sally Henryhan and some of our other emerging young adults for a service titled TikTok, Life on Loop. Please come and support our young adults, and I think they have something important to share. As we remain restricted to our homes and we're cut off from our family and friends, I want to raise up the importance of staying engaged with each other right now. Don't diminish or minimize how important this community is. We need to stay together, and because of the enthusiasm and creative efforts of our volunteers, there's so many opportunities and space for us to be together in community, even in this limited virtual world. So I invite you, please, take time each week, look at your emails from the church, see all the different ways that your heart and your mind can be fed. For example, just next weekend for our families, they're invited to offer or to bring along the stuffed animals right here to the church to stay overnight in our beloved Holland Hall. That is so cool. They're going to cook up a storm in our kitchen. If you can imagine your stuffed puppies and polar bears and rabbits, they're going to have a party in the dining room, and they're going to sleep snugly in our classrooms. Check out the Sunday bulletin for how you can send your stuffed animals or any other way you can feed your heart and soul. Now, as is our custom during our virtual worship, we ask that you restrict your chat to designated times, which includes the joys and concerns. I have noticed in the last few weeks that I'm seeing less and less sharing of the joys, the sorrows, and celebrations during the offering. But please, we want to know what's going on. I want to know what's going on, and so do your fellow members. So please continue to share your joys and your sorrows in the chat. As is our custom, we've invited you to turn off your cameras so you can move about without distracting others. But at the end of the service, after the postlude, we invite you, please turn on your cameras. Give a virtual wave and a hug to each other, and we will then break into our social hour. I invite you now, take a deep breath as we join together. Put your feet on the ground, feel connected to one another. As we come together in worship, I offer these words for our chalice lighting. Our chalice holds a live flame, an image of the flame of life that is held in our very bodies, flickering and pulsing with each breath. This flame is also bright in the sky above our heads, even behind hidden clouds. It is rising up each day on the horizon of new beginnings and setting each night as our breath comes to a slow halt in our life, we can trust that we are remembered, held within the foundation of the earth's rocks and deep soil. Images of life's hold upon us, reaching back centuries. The earth remembers us and holds our life in its ancient embrace. May this flame kindle your beating heart, spark energy in your muscles and blood. Let it burn deep into your feet, where you can touch the roots of the eons yet to come. Please join your voices together with your mics off, please, with our opening hymn.
Please join in singing hymn 1070, Mother, I Feel You. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel you. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I hear you. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I feel you. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I hear you. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Mother, I feel you under my feet. Mother, I hear your heartbeat. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Mother, I hear you in the river song. Eternal waters flowing on and on. Mother, I hear you in the river song. Eternal waters flowing on and on. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. The light of the Spirit gonna take us higher. Father, I see you when the eagle flies. Light of the Spirit gonna take us higher. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, ho.
I invite you now, from wherever you may be, to bring your voices out in reciting our covenant as the words are found on your screen. Love is the teaching of this church. The quest of truth is its daily task. and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve life in community, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony. This is our covenant with each and with all.
Always Remember by C.C. Meng, illustrated by Jago. In the end, on his very last day, Old Turtle swam his last swim and took his last breath. With his life complete, the gentle waves took him away. By dawn, everyone who knew Old Turtle knew he was gone. The turtles playing in the reef remembered how he taught them to swim. Old Turtle had been a good teacher. And the turtles would always remember. The broad-backed, humpback whale remembered how Old Turtle swam alongside of her and kept her company when she became separated from her pod. Old Turtle had been a good friend. And the whale would always remember. The sea otters remembered how Old Turtle would dive and play with them and make them laugh. Old Turtle had loved to have fun. And the otters would always remember. The dolphins remembered how Old Turtle was curious about the unknown and bravely swam out to sea. Old Turtle explored the darkest of the waters and discovered glittery jewels to show his friends. And the dolphins would always remember. Once a terrible storm tossed and turned the ocean for 3 long days and nights. A starfish was torn from her rock and swept away. When the waves became calm again, Old Turtle looked for her and found her and carried her home. And the starfish would always remember. When Old Turtle found a manatee tangled in a fishing net, he snipped and pulled and would not stop until the manatee was free. The manatee told the story to his children, and they told the story to their children. Old Turtle would never be forgotten. Once upon a time, there was an old turtle. He was a wonderful teacher and friend. He loved to laugh and have fun. He explored the unknown and discovered great things. He showed kindness and strength, and he made his world a better place. When Old Turtle died, the ocean took him back. But what he left behind was only the beginning.
Hello, good people. What a beautiful story and song as well to help get us grounded. Mount Vernon Unitarian Church continues to share the plate with committed organizations that you, the members, have chosen. And for the month of February, we are so happy to host No Child Goes Hungry. An organization began from a vision, a spark of an idea to creation through a lot of hard work and commitment by our own Reverend Karen Rasmussen. Karen is going to tell in her own voice what the work of her organization has been doing, and I can tell you she's been busier than ever during this pandemic. We will continue to split our offering between Mount Vernon Unitarian Church and No Child Goes Hungry. Unless you otherwise direct it to, you are welcome to write a check and mail it to Mount Vernon Unitarian Church right here on the Holy Hill. You can also make payment via text or church account via credit card. There's information on the slide in the chat box. And we truly do invite you during the time of music to tenderly name in the chat box what is in your heart, your joys and your sorrows. We truly want to know. Now let us hear from Reverend Karen.
Good morning, everybody. And if we haven't met yet, I'm Reverend Karen Rasmussen. I've worn many hats over the years while serving at Mount Vernon, but today I'm wearing the hat of the founder and director of the nonprofit No Child Goes Hungry. No Child Goes Hungry is a 501c3, and my business model is unique but simple. I do the fundraising and then give grants in a variety of ways for communities to eliminate childhood hunger locally. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Just unbelievable that any child ever goes hungry, and yet it happens every day. But my guess is that you know that. Just this past week, the Washington Post ran an article on the front page about hunger right now in our country. With the pandemic and the huge increase in need, I really needed to pivot, partner, and shift how I can get funds to the people and places that need it. Let me give you an example of the numbers. When I started in 2016 and until January of 2020, I gave out 15 grants a year on average. I thought that was pretty good. Except for some help with social media, I'm pretty much a one-woman nonprofit who works out of her home. Then 2020 hit, and last year, wait for it, I gave out 73 grants. 5 times what I normally do in a year. And I've already sent out 13 this year with more in the wings. Where I used to get 2 to 3 applications a week, I now get that in a day. So how have I pivoted to get so much out to so many during the pandemic? Just as our congregations have worked hard and fast to adapt, so have the school systems and nonprofit organizations all over the country. I've partnered with new and different groups and individuals and brainstormed with them on how first to get the food and then how to deliver it. Here's just a couple examples. No Child Goes Hungry has helped feeding programs for schools both locally and in several other states who just can't get access to free and reduced lunch programs. I've sponsored the Loop Elementary School on the First Nation reservation outside of Flagstaff, Arizona. Talk about kids who have nothing. I also helped out the Sprout mobile food truck for deliveries of repurposed food in Wyoming. I've sponsored school gardens and planting projects and the refurbishing of refrigerators so when groups can actually find the food, they can store it. I just partnered with All Souls in New York and their food program and community refrigerators. But let me end by talking about little free pantries. They're like little free libraries, but for food. Before the pandemic, I had sponsored 2. Since the pandemic, I sponsored 43 more pantries all over the country. I could tell you a story about each and every one. I'll close by saying that 100% of every donation goes to feeding kids. I don't take a salary for this ministry. Mount Vernon has always been so supportive of No Child Goes Hungry, and I appreciate all that you do. Thank you, and let's feed some kids.
all living substance, all substance of energy, being, and purpose, are united and share the same destiny. All people, those we love and those we know not of, are united and share the same destiny. Birth to death. We share this unity with the sun, with the earth, with our siblings and strangers. Flowers of the field, snowflakes, volcanoes, and moonbeams. Birth, life, death. Unknown, known, unknown. Our destiny, from unknown to unknown. May we have the faith to accept this mystery and build upon its everlasting truth.
I invite you now to take a long, slow, deep breath, settle into your body. Another long, slow, deep breath. Feel your body from fingertips to toes, to your scalp, to your lungs and your heart. Blessed Spirit of life, we reach out to you with our own life force, connecting with the earth in profound and expansive sense of connection. On this morning in particular, we are thanking our Indigenous teachers. We have invited their music into our presence, helping us celebrate, helping us honor the Mother Earth, helping remind us of that which is so important in the cycle of life and death. On this particular morning, we are remembering each other in this community and our families and our friends in our expanded community. On this particular morning, as we come together with love and affection, with celebration and shared sorrow when one of us is ill and scared. We offer our love, our prayer, our fervent hope for healing and wholeness for all. And on this particular morning, as we do all mornings, we send our love and our prayers throughout this world for all those whose hearts are aching as we scramble and fight and figure our way out through this pandemic. We are engaged in acts of faith and trust in one another and our leaders, as we are faced on a regular basis, moment to moment even, with the reality of life and death and the struggle for meaning found in between. We look to our teachers, we look to each other, we look within ourselves, and we breathe in our bodies. We are reminded by our Indigenous teachers, our friends, we hope, and we feel ourselves grounded upon this earth. Blessed be, and amen.
Good morning. Please join us in singing hymn 1069 from your teal hymnal or from your screen. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I feel your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears.
Breathe with me, my good people. Breathe. By way of a story, I offer this poem, which I wrote back in 2006, about a week after my mother died. She died from complications from multiple sclerosis and had been in a nursing home for about 6 weeks. And prior to that, I'd taken care of her in the last 4 years of her life. The robin is building her nest just outside the window. You lie dying inside this temporary home. We both knew you wouldn't last here. This nest of linoleum, disinfectant, and wheelchairs. Fellow temporary travelers traverse the halls, feeding at their appointed hour what their body will still tolerate. They yell to aides who bustle from one need to the next, never finished with their work. Bodies slowly, ever so slowly coming to a full stop. Death lives here and all know it. The robin is working so hard, building her nest for her babies yet to come. You are working so hard, breathing your last for death yet to come. Your babies will be okay, I whisper. You built a nest for us. It withstood the many tests of a struggled life. You showed us how to breathe, how to stand up to life and never let the pain rule. You showed us the presence of death amidst the wonder and stunning beauty of life. Life is precious, you said. All should know it. Disease set into your body so many years ago, yet you chose the precious path of life. Thank you for your grace, acceptance, and strength, while life kicked, punched, and bit with ugly teeth. Thank you for holding me together while your body continued to fail you. Thank you for being there for so many nights, bandaged knees, adolescent anguish, and adult confusion. Thank you for allowing me to care for you as you cared for me. It is true, love that is freely given comes around again. This is why life is so precious. All should know it. Slowly, ever so slowly, your breath comes to a full stop. The robin is still building her nest for a life yet to come. Amidst the death, a mother prepares. Thank you for the nest you built ever so tenderly and lovingly. You are my mother forevermore. Fly now, fly away into the arms of death. Fly away, mother, fly away from your nest. Death comes amidst a precious life. We all know it. Breathe with me, people. Whatever I share today was taught to me by my mother, Sandy. She guided me outside at the age of 5 with a dead gerbil in the shoebox, helping me dig the hole in the backyard beneath the blue spruce. When a series of beloved childhood dogs died, one after another, various illnesses, she did not hide her grief beneath a veneer of resolved strength, as if their short lives didn't matter. She shared her grief and her strength. I knew life mattered, and thus death did too. She was a pragmatist, my mom, and yet she resorted to resolved strength when it came time for our first grandparent to die, her own father. She did not share her deep grief with me, all of 7 years old. And perhaps she knew that the waves that overwhelmed her were not appropriate for my tender little heart. She was running on instinct, her body full of emptiness and regret and loss. Life and death are fundamentally an embodied experience. And I mean this in the truest sense. Life and death, the most important cycle found in all living matter, is about our bodies. Yet too often we try and think our way through this profound embodied experience as if life and death are something to be reasoned with, a mere intellectual constructs of theory. But the truth of all truth surrounds us with signs and signals and reminders of life and death every single day, enmeshed in nature. All living substance, our being and our purpose, shared in the same destiny, a unity with the sunlight and moonbeams. David Eaton's reading reminded us of this important truth. We've attempted to capture this truth in religious beliefs back to cave dwellings. It's woven into the fabric of metaphoric art and music and poetry and novels, primary characters, plot lines, and buried subtexts. All of this surrounds us every single day. And here we are, you and me, held together in our chosen religious community, located on a holy hill of nature's glorious cycles, a wildlife sanctuary to which we have pledged ourselves again and again. And we come here to seek truth and meaning and a faith that sustains us amidst a world pandemic filled with the threat of illness and death. So we must speak of life and death. It's an invitation to reflect. Our theme of the month is what it is. It's an invitation to reflect and ponder and find truth and meaning about a particular broad theme chosen for its relevancy in our lives. The hope is that when we need to act for justice or hospitality, when we need to work in friction or creativity, that we have a foundation and a knowledge that guides us as we make decisions. Pandemic aside, life and death is perhaps the most important theme we have to acknowledge. Its existence is ever present with each breath we take. And with a deeper understanding of life and death, perhaps we can understand the depth and the meaning behind the Christian story of Easter and rebirth, of the Jewish story of Abraham and sacrifice, or the Buddhist teachings of non-attachment, of the Hindu beliefs in reincarnation, of the Islamic belief of God's absolute power over life and death, and of the pagan teachings of the cycle of life and death expressed in a wholehearted honoring of the earth. If we give such a momentous thing the time it deserves, perhaps we can be courageous, slow our thinking brain, listen to what our bodies, the greatest teacher of all, are telling us about our lives and our eventual death. Death comes amidst our precious lives. We all know it. For myself, I've always feared death by being trapped in a sinking ship. Sorry for the image. My apology, but fears are not rational, they just are. The irony is I'm an excellent swimmer, born knowing how to swim with metaphoric flippers. I've worked as a lifeguard and a water safety instructor. I'm totally comfortable in or around water, rafting, canoeing, sailing. Thank you, Captain Joan. But I will never, ever go on a cruise. Nope. I look at the ocean with deep respect, but I will never cross it in a ship. Not going to happen to me. No. And it's good to pause, even with some humor, and give our attention to this truest of our fears, our anxiety, the real experience that's embedded in our muscles and our bones. For our courage, we raise up our lives to a larger calling, an invitation to an expansiveness of life, and yes, more complicated meaning. There is a sweet and bitter irony in recognizing that we cannot fully live without the recognition of our death. And for most of us, we don't want to acknowledge death's constant presence, yet it is there whether we look or not, whether we speak of it or not. And here's the trick of this double helix relationship, where one is nothing without the other. When we carry both life and death in whatever way we can bear, the load is lighter when we look, see, and touch its tender strands and their impact on our daily choices. When we let the grief lay us on the ground, when we water the earth with our tears, when we let the salt of our bodies replenish the soil, we feed the roots and set life free of restricted fears. As Unitarian Universalists, we have set a principal belief in the interdependent web of life. And perhaps we told ourselves as we voted for its addition to our collection of principles that we are honoring the earth so we can protect it. Perhaps we want to honor the cycles of soft orange sunsets and sunrises, for the crocuses bursting forth from the frozen ground, for the forsythia popping up in yellow even as snow falls upon soft petals, or for the blast of waves upon our faces as we rush head first into the blue-gray ocean. In adopting this crucial seventh principle, I think we Unitarian Universalists, we're creating our own Easter story of rebirth, our own Abrahamic faith about sacrifice, our own reminder of non-attachment, our own trust in reincarnation in some form, our naming that God has the only power over life and death, whatever God is to us, and that the earth holds the answers to our greatest and most terrifying questions about life and death. Now, do not underestimate the power of our deep psychological drive. I think perhaps Carl Jung was right about the collective unconscious, that space where our hearts and minds meet in inherited, profound human beliefs and instincts. Perhaps death comes amidst our precious lives, and we do all know it, even if we don't acknowledge it. For my part, in my small, limited, collective unconscious, I picture an ocean, ironically, filled with life from sea turtles to sea otters, with its constant ebbing and flowing, pulsing with the Earth's gravitational force, shifting the planet and all life as we know it, as if the Earth itself is breathing. My mother is there in that vast collection of energy, as is my father and grandparents, a few gerbils, some fish, cats, and so many dogs. They are always remembered. I can feel my body respond to the ocean's insistent, relentless call, wave upon wave, hitting my soul and body, my breathing in sync. I know I will be there one day too, swallowed by the sea. On my best days, I'm okay with that. The sea will have me, I know this. It's what gives my life extraordinary beauty, reminds me of gratitude, provides substance and abundance, and it reminds me, not so gently, to choose wisely what I do with my time and what words I speak. And you, my friends, what of your task this day? I invite you to feel what your body is telling you about life and death. Not just think, but give pause. Close your eyes. Listen to what your body is sharing about this universal truth. I suspect it has important questions. What nest do you still need to build? What gifts do you need to share? Has your love been fully launched into this world? Has your love been fully launched into this world? Do not fear. The earth can hold you. The ocean can carry you. The sunrise will greet you again, for even as it is carried high into its daily apex, you are a part of its substance, united in the same destiny. Truth this is an everlasting truth. You may need to lay your grief down on the ground. Let your tears water the earth. Allow the salt of your body to replenish the soil, feed the roots, and set life free again. May it be so. Amen and blessed be. I offer a note about this closing hymn. This was chosen by me because the hymn and the video takes place in the church where I grew up in Providence, Rhode Island, and where my mother sat beside me in those pews as my father preached. I remember them.
Good morning. I'm Fred Jodrich, music director here at First Unitarian. The hymn today, 306, Sing of Living, Sing of Dying.
of living, sing of dying. Let them both be joined as one, part of an eternal process, like the ever-circling sun. From the freshness of each infant, giving hope in what is new, to the wisdom of the aged, deepened by a longer view. Open to a deeper loving, open to the gift of care, searching for a higher justice, helping others in despair. Through the tender bonds of living, in a more inclusive way, we are opened more to suffering from the losses of each day.
Will you join me as we unite our voices to recite the words to extinguish our chalice, words known within our hearts and can be found displayed upon your screen? We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
As you go forth into this world in whatever way you can, my beloved, maybe going forward is going to the kitchen. Maybe you get to go for a walk on this beautiful afternoon of snow. Whatever you do, I do invite you to be safe, to take care of yourself. And with each step that you take, for each moment that you shift forward into this life, I invite you to listen to your body. What is it saying about the cycle of life and death, and how it's an invitation to live more expansively and with greater meaning? Return again next Sunday. We'll be here waiting for you. Blessed be.